Hey everyone, this is Arado and we're here to talk about the upcoming summer global exclusive banner featuring Saga Frontier 1 characters. We have Roufas, Lyza, and Doll. First up with Roufas, he is a single target or a minor boss farmer, and if you have his previous style, it would greatly help his boss farming capability because as we all know, Gun and Blade is still one of the best skill we have in terms of boss farming. And then with AoE farming, if he can inherit submachine gun, he can do 3 times of that skill for a round if anything. And then with this style, the skill number 3 may help the overall damage of the party if in case you need that extra defense down or extra damage that the party does so that you can do a fast clear, then maybe skill number 3 may be of use for farming. For hard content, that's where he shines because his design is more of a support. He does buffs to the party and debuffs to the enemies. All of his supports are considered as fast skill. Unfortunately, it would have both a good and a bad effect to it. So the good is because if it's a buff or a debuff, it would immediately take effect at the start of the turn, so you would be able to take advantage of that. The bad side of it is most of the hard contents are done in the turtle strategy. So if you are utilizing the Tiger's Den formation, then that would be a gamble for Rufus to not have the mitigation for that turn if he uses a buff or a debuff. So it's something to consider when you want to use him for hard content and you want to utilize the Tiger's Den strategy. But it shouldn't be a problem if you use the tortoise shell formation, or next time we would have the whirlwind formation, which doesn't have any penalty if you do any fast skills. And lastly, if you can inherit probing slash, that would be a big help for will buffing spamming for Rufus as he builds up BP. So probing slash I believe is 2 BP if awakened, so he would be able to gain 2 BP per turn even using that. So that would enable him to survive better, especially for magic type battles. Alright, next one is Lyza. So Lyza for farming, I would be honest that I struggled in evaluating Lyza because it's really hard to know whether what Lyza wanted to focus on in terms of farming, because her skill number 1 is a row skill. Skill number 2 is a support, so that's totally skipped on auto. Skill number 3 is an AoE and then a 2 column. So that's why I written here where her farming might most likely be utilized for a single target, because the skill number 3 at most it may be able to do S damage or borderline close to an SS damage because of the agility buffing, and that's one thing that she may do in a single target or boss farming. And then with inherit from the previous SS style, you can inherit giant swing so that you can strategically use the skill number 3 either for turn 1 or turn 2 whenever you need it, or you can do a turn 2 single target burst with Babel Crumble. For hard content, she is a self and a party agility buffing. Even though she can't spam agility buffing into the extent of Matriarch, but she is able to do it in a way where, because of her BP rebate on every attack, that she may be able to reuse that skill every 2 or 3 turns. So she may be able to bridge any gap you have with agility buffing if you're going for the dodge strategy, especially with the upcoming spiral corridor, that agility dodge strategy would be heavily used for normal enemy stages. And of course, She is built for long battles. As you can see, she has good endurance and willpower stats, and because of her design where she stacks heat up and defense up, she's really built for long battles. So heat up and defense up are passive attack and defenses that goes permanently to the character all throughout the battle. Regardless of whether the character dies or not, he or she would still retain the said heat up and defense up and would stack however times is possible. There is no limit to that from what I know. Okay, last one is Doll. So Doll is a good boss farmer because of single skill number 3. So her skill number 3 is a single target, and then it follows up, so it's an A damage, and then it follows up with an SS damage. So I would say she would be doing SSSS damage, if not stronger than that. And having two different skills be used, the calculation may be different and maybe stronger than, you know, just adding the two power together. And then of course for her skill number 2, bullet dance, she can use that for single target farming, or it would be guaranteed to be used for 2 rounders. And with good RNG, because of her passive, she may be able to use bullet dance a third time for that battle. And of course, from the previous SS style, she is, and she can do insta kill. She can do single target insta kill. For hard content, she is a DPS source, and of course, with inherit from the previous SS style, she can do shred debuffing. I gave that 0.5 points extra for that shred debuffing. Although it's not heavily used today, it may be useful in the future where, like I said, debuffers play a different role now in the game, especially those bosses with debuff cleansing capability where you do debuff just to for the enemy to do enough damage for you to survive that attack rather than debuffing to totally disable the enemy. So yeah, those are the 3 characters for the banner. Roufas, in my opinion, potentially is the best in the banner, and I think it shows with how they label this banner being Romancing Matsuri, Roufas banner. So yeah, Gun and Blade may potentially do higher damage with this style, but it's subject to testing. The reason for that is the previous one only had tension 4 because of having just over tension. This one has tension 5 because of protect high tension. And then he also has the single target damage buffing. So maybe that would be enough to surpass the damage of the previous style if you inherit Gun and Blade. But again, it's subject for testing. Lastly, like I said, for the fast type support and hard content may have both good and bad effect to consider when you use it. So it can be risky, especially if you think that the hard content enemy would do a nuke, that Roufas might die from it if he doesn't have any sort of mitigate. And then for Lyza, her farming style is unfortunately all over the place. However, that can be fixed with the next S style that we get from the Liam chapter. I forgot which chapter we get that style, but that would enable her to do decent single target or AoE farming with Suplex Plus or Punishing Fist. And then the next summer style, if you want to consider that inheriting the skill number 3 from this style, the next summer style can actually use that style 3 times in a battle, because this style's skill number 3 is equated to 3 different attacks. The next summer style, as long as Lyza hits the weak point of the enemy, then the Lyza would gain 2 BP every attack. So she would gain a total of 6 BP just by using skill number 3 alone from this style. So that's why she is able to do that for 3 times in a battle potentially. And lastly, for Doll, she's a good one shot for a single target with 2 skills. And skill number 2 can be used guaranteed for 2-rounder single target farming, and with good RNG can be used for 3-rounders. Yeah, that's what I think for the banner. Hopefully that helps you in deciding whether to invest your jewels in this or not. Potentially, I think it's worth the investment, especially for Roufas and or Lyza. Doll is extra and may help her future music fest style, if anything. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, and thank you for tuning in, and see you in the next video.